everyone. Good evening to you all. I hope you guys are doing great. Today is 11th of November 2025. So the news says that Nnamdi Kanu, the leader of the Indigenous People of Biafra, who has been in detention for some years, has asked court of Nigeria to defer his November 20th judgment regarding terrorism trial. So the full details of this news, guys, it is really shocking. People are saying so many things regarding this news. Some are laughing, some are making us kind of gestures. But anyway, let's read the full details of the news. The news I read said, the detained leader of the Indigenous People of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu, has asked the Federal High Court in Abuja to halt its plan to deliver judgment in the terrorism case brought against him by the federal government. Kanu is facing a 7-count terrorism charge marked FHC-ABJ/CR/383/2015, in which the federal government alleged that he led a separatist movement seeking the secession of the southeast part of the South-South and some communities in Kogi and Benue State from Nigeria. He was also accused of inciting violence and killings through broadcasts allegedly transmitted across the country, as well as illegally importing a radio transmitter. Kanu pleaded not guilty to the charges. Why did prosecution close? They closed the case after calling 5 witnesses. Kanu had initially listed 23 individuals he intended to summon in his defense. He later withdrew the list, insisting that he would not defend a charge he described as invalid and containing offenses unknown to the law. At the last sitting, after Kanu failed to open his defense, despite being granted 6 days to do so, Justice James Omotosho proceeded to fix a date for judgment, having given him multiple opportunities. In a fresh motion filed on November 10th and personally signed by him, Kanu asked the court to suspend the November 20th date set for judgment in his terrorism trial. He argued that his persecution under the new repealed Terrorism Prevention Amendment Act of 2013 contravenes Section 1(3), 36(1) to 12 and 42 of the 1999 Constitution as amended, as well as Articles 7 and 26 of the African Charter on Human and People's Rights. The motion filed before Justice Omotosho under suit number FHC Abuja/CR/383/2015 urged the court to halt judgment on the grounds that the proceedings were conducted under a repealed and non-existent law. In violation of the Supreme Court directives and contrary to Section 2871 of the Constitution, Kanu also sought a declaration that the trial court was constitutionally bound to give effect to the Supreme Court findings that count 15, now count 7, does not exist in law, and that failure to do so renders all subsequent proceedings null and void. He further argued that the court's failure to take judicial notice of the repeal of the 2013 Terrorism Act, contrary to Section 122 of the Evidence Act 2011, invalidates all proceedings conducted under it. Let me finish before I will explain. Kanu contended that under Section 76(1)(a) III 3 of the Terrorism Prevention and Prohibition Act 2022, the Federal High Court lacked jurisdiction to try him in the absence of proof that alleged conduct constituted an offense under Kenyan law or was supported by a valid extradition order from a Kenyan court. He also challenged the plea purportedly taken on March 29, 2023 under a repealed statute and in violation of Section 220 of the Administration of Criminal Justice Act 2015, describing it as void and incapable of conferring jurisdiction. Kanu argued that the alleged use of forged materials in the proceedings amounted to a constructive denial of fair hearing under Section 36(6) of the Constitution, and therefore asked the court to set aside all rulings and proceedings presided over by Justice Omotosho on grounds of lack of jurisdiction and breach of constitutional supremacy. Open your ear well. Now, Representing himself after disengaging his team of lawyers, Kanu stated that he was misled into pleading under a non-existent law, contrary to Section 2020 of the ACJA 2015. It is in the interest of justice for this honorable court to arrest Judgment X 𝐍𝐵𝐿 𝐷𝐭, he added. Among the reliefs sought in his motion are an order arresting the delivery of judgment in the suit and a declaration that the court's failure to take judicial notice of the repeal of the 2013 Terrorism Act, contrary to Section 122 of the Evidence Act 2011, vitiates all steps taken under it. Some people are busy saying that they like what is happening, that they presume he has seen the exact act under which he was indicted. Hopefully that if the extension is granted, he will use the opportunity to prepare a more robust defense. If the review is denied, judgment will begin November 20th, 2025. Anyway, the case is really getting interesting. I want you guys to remember something. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is now telling court that the trial, the judgment that was passed previously on this case, he opened a fresh motion to ask the Supreme Court to discard its December 18th, 2023 ruling because it was based on an ignorance of relevant law, a repealed law, a law that does not exist. Are you guys getting something? That he was, discharged and acquitted. Everybody was rejoicing this and that particular law does not exist. He has also requested that his trial in the Federal High Court be reviewed and they should give him more time as he just started representing himself. From October 26, 2025, he may, I don't know how it will happen. But in this case, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is nullifying his 2023 trial, the judgment. And as you guys heard, he has asked that the judge should be arrested. Probably, and you hear what he said. He was connived. In fact, when people, try to convince you, they want you to believe in what they are believing, when you don't know what is going on. Eventually, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu discovered that he was deceived to believe in that rule of 2023 law, a repealed law. This man is very intelligent. He had discovered that, okay, since he's standing that they cannot try him with law that does not exist, he now referred back to his judgment in 2023. He discovered that he won that particular case with law, constitution that does not exist, a repealed law. So in that effect, he nullified that particular judgment. You get what is going on? And as a matter of fact, he demands the immediate arrest of the so-called judge. It is really getting interesting. It is really getting interesting. I wish Mazi Nnamdi Kanu nothing but all the very best and victory at last. Because in the sense that this kind of country, because he is an Igbo man, they want to jail him by all means. What is his crime? Because he's agitating for separation. Yes. 99% of all Igbos want division, including me. I will not doubt it. Because I've tested good life and I would want good life to happen in Igbo land. As a matter of fact, I am enjoying a steady light, but in the country I called my own, there is no steady light here. As a matter of fact, I can pay a little amount of money to enjoy free connection, but in my country it is not like that. As a matter of fact, I'm enjoying security, but in my country, it is not so. So tell me why, as an Igbo man or as an Igbo woman, looking the way things are going on against the Igbos in the country we call our own, tell me why I will not, buttress Mazi Nnamdi Kanu in his agitation for separation. Because I just want to know, can someone convince me vividly on why an Igbo man can stand tomorrow or stand today to say, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, I'm not supporting you in this division? Automatically, I cannot do such a thing. I must buttress him to the core. Come rain, come sun. Death or life, we stand gidigba. Even if he did not achieve, we pray that he should achieve freedom in his own time. We pray nothing should happen to him. We pray that all his efforts will not be ruined. It will never be in vain. That is our prayer. Look at what happened today. I think generals, major generals who are going they are going for examination. They got kidnapped today. Government abduct 6 defense ministry directors traveling for promotion exam. Is this a country? Imagine defense ministry. Directors of defense ministry was kidnapped today. Today we are abducted by gunmen. People who are expected to protect you and I has been kidnapped. And you are still telling us that Nnamdi Kanu is this, he should be jailed, this and that. This is the man that reveals so many things. The problem we are passing through today, this man revealed it. But we failed to listen to him. We failed to heed to his advices because he is an Igbo man. Anyway, I want to hear your own thoughts regarding this. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is, in fact, he's far ahead of these people. They keep doing whatever they are doing. The man keep changing his own narrative. And they keep getting shocked. People are busy mocking him, that they will jail him. If you see what people are saying under this post via Punch newspaper, you have to see how people reason. You need to see how Nigerians are reasoning. People are dying on a daily basis. If you have been to Igbo, if you're a Yoruba man or an Hausa man, you have been to Igbo, you see why Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is agitating for freedom. Everything does not lie on the shoulder of the so-called Southeastern governors. The Nigerian government knows what they are doing against Igbos. We don't have a single international airport. We don't have seaports in Igbo land. It's joke.